Hey, hello, my name is Jasmine Stevens, and I'm here with Nneka Enemkpali. She was a former UT basketball player from years 11 to 15. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Jazz.
So today we're just going to talk about the Frank Erwin Center and now how it's being transferred over to the Moody Center. The Frank Erwin Center was home to UT men's and women's basketball for over 4 decades. Um, And so now we're just going to talk about like your atmosphere there. What were your memories? Did you just have any just like how was it just like playing in that atmosphere there?
Yeah, I think that when you think back to I'll just take it back a little bit more. When you think about the Frank Erwin Center, it's such a pivotal piece of just young people who play basketball in the state of Texas. It's a pivotal piece to everything that we do, right? Because you think about a season, the longevity of a season is to get to what? State championship.
Mhm.
And the state championship is held at the Erwin Center. At the end of your 4 years in high school, you graduate at the Frank Erwin Center. So I've had extended memories of what the Frank Erwin Center has meant to me while I lived in Pflugerville. And then having the opportunity to play 4 years at the University of Texas and that being my home court. It's a very surreal feeling and thought to think that it's no longer going to be the place that houses the women's
Mhm.
basketball team, the men's basketball team. The atmosphere in that place is contagious. And I think so, even more so because of the fact that, like I said, it's historically a place that has been a building piece for us. We go there, we want to get there for state. We graduate, and then for me, I was lucky enough to actually have the opportunity to play there in college. I can't pinpoint one specific memory because I have a lot.
Mhm.
I loved walking in or walking out on game day and just seeing a sea of burnt orange, right? Seeing the cheerleaders, seeing what we would call our super fans who were consistently there every single game cheering us on. For me, I was a hometown kid. So seeing my family, seeing my coaches, seeing you and your mom in the stands sometimes.
Mhm.
So it's a very surreal feeling to think it's no longer going to be a big part of the university in that way anymore, but a lot of great memories there.
Mhm. And I know you talked about just like going to Pflugerville High School, and actually your coach went to UT. So how was that like a feeling like to you? Just like how was that like, oh, like my coach went to UT, now I'm going to UT. And then like we both played on Pflugerville High School's court, like she coached on Pflugerville High School's court, and then now it's like y'all were playing on Frank Erwin Center's court. How was
Yeah.
that? How was that feeling?
Nancy, Nancy, she is probably the most even keel individual you'll meet in the sense that even during my recruiting process, she allowed it to be my recruiting process. I don't know that I wasn't sure if I would really grasp the concept that Nancy played at UT because it wasn't something she led with. She wanted me to make an unbiased opinion or unbiased choice in the university that I went to. But I think it kind of hit home more once I was actually on campus and I was meeting with some of her former teammates. So we'd go
Mhm.
to alumni weekend and Nancy would come back and her former teammates would come back. And you're walking around the locker room and you see the alumni wall and there's Coach Nancy back when she was in college. Um, I had the opportunity of being coached by a lot of former women's basketball players at the University of Texas. Like my AU coach was also Clarissa Davis Reitzel. She played at UT. She was an All-American. And like it's just the pride. These women walk around with a certain level of pride. And I think that everybody will say that based on the university that they go to. But whenever you're living in the city, you're living in the state, and you're being coached by people who have this unkeen love and passion for what we're doing, it's a special feeling to be able to be a part of that Longhorn connection on a more intimate level. I love Coach Nancy. I think she's a big part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now as a college coach. Just seeing her temperament, the way she handled us as young women, the values she instilled in us. Super appreciative of having the opportunity to be one of her former players.
Hey. So, I know you said something about like the super fans being there. You know, me and my mom were there watching you, and it's just like a bittersweet feeling that there is no more Frank Owen Center. Like now we have to get used to a whole new stadium called like Moody Center, like that's going to be like our home now. So how do you think that that will affect the team moving forward?
Positive. It's nothing but positives. Obviously, it's the conclusion of one chapter, but it's the start of a new. And if you think about it, like the Frank Erwin Center, like you said, it's been around for 40 years. But prior to that, our teams were playing in the Gregory Center. I think that's Gregory Gymnasium, actually, that's what it's called. That's where our volleyball team plays at. So it started as Gregory, and then the Frank Erwin Center became a thing, right? So as you continue to progress, the natural cadence to that is your success is built on your ability to offer resources to your student athletes. And what an amazing resource the Moody Center is going to be. What an amazing recruiting tool that's going to be for them. And it's very much so they're very deserving of all the things that they're getting right now. And I just think like the University of Texas is a prestigious institution academically, but then when you think about it athletically, it's one of the most elite brands in the country. So it's only right that they have a stadium that reflects that. And I think the young women are going to benefit greatly off of it. It's going to be super dope for them to have a facility it's just for them in men's basketball, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
No,
so,
and I think it's like, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so it's gonna be dope for them to have a facility that they walk into and just being able to say that this is ours. This is a facility that caters strictly to them. So excited for them to have that for the program.
And so currently you're at USC. Okay, what is your position there?
Assistant coach.
Assistant coach. And so how has it been different transitioning from Texas to USC? Like now you're in LA, you came from Austin, downtown in the middle of everything. Now you're in LA in California in like the middle of everything. So how has that gone for you?
Man, I thought I was in the city when I lived in Austin and now I'm in an actual city. I love, like I was telling you before we even started the interview, there's a different level of pride that Texans have. And they feel it all the time whenever I'm here, like with my coworkers. They're like, bro, Nneka, we know you from Texas. We understand you love it. It's cool. I said, I don't think y'all understand it. But as soon as I graduated, I've been on the West Coast ever since graduating college, between Washington, California, Vegas. And I absolutely love it. USC, again, is one of the most elite brands in the country. There's a lot of similarities in my experience as a student athlete and seeing the resources and what we offer to our young women here. There's a lot of similarities in that, but at the same time, like I'm very appreciative of being a young coach in the business, but also having the ability to live in a city that creates balance for me, right? Like, you haven't gotten into the workforce yet, but once you do, you're going to understand the importance of having a sense of work-life balance. LA is beautiful. It has oceans, it has beaches. It's super eclectic. It has diversity. I think that the best part about it is that it has a hub for everybody. Whatever you're interested in, you're able to find it here in the city. So yeah, I'm enjoying my stay here in LA.
So it sounds like you're gonna stay there.
I ain't got no plans of leaving, girl. I ain't got no plans of leaving.
So what are your ultimate goals? Do you want to become a head coach? Are you satisfied with being just assistant coach or?
I think my focus is always being present where my 2 feet are at. I think a lot of people could get caught up in, you want to have a little bit of vision of where you want your life to go in futuristically speaking, but I think there's nothing more important than being present where you're at and being the best you can possibly be in the job and in the role that you're currently in. Do I want to be a head coach? I don't have an answer for that. I know that I love my position right now, and it allows me to touch our student athletes in a different facet than I would be able to if I were a head coach, if that makes sense. Like, like your head coach is always, it feels different than whenever you have your assistant coach. And I really enjoy that relationship. I enjoy the fact that I'm able to dibble and dabble in a lot of different things, and I'm always being challenged to grow as an assistant. So I'm really present where I'm at right now. 2 feet down.
2 feet down, worrying about the present right now. Okay, well, thank you. Those were all my questions. So I'm gonna edit that out. But
yeah. What was your experience like? You obviously play at the college level, but you had the opportunity of playing for Nancy and playing at a really well-known high school in the state of Texas. And I would assume that it prepared you for the role that you're in now as a young, intelligent college student as well, pursuing some of your goals. So how has that all come full circle for you?
Well, definitely just, ever since I was little, my mom coached most of you guys, and just like being around you guys, and I just like looked up to you and just like, oh, I want to be like them. I want to play at Pflugerville High School. Then when I got to Pflugerville High School, it's like, okay, I want to play at the Frank Erwin Center, like for state. And that was just like my goal. So I just had different goals, but y'all like were my role models. So now I guess like just actually playing at Pflugerville High School at that state, like at on like basketball court like y'all played on, it was just like surreal. So now whenever you went to UT, and then me and mom would go and watch you, it's just like, oh wow, like she's like on like the next step. Like I'm watching her on my TV at Baylor. And so I was like, I don't know, it was just very like, I can do anything that I can put my mind to. Like you did, like you put in work. I need to put in work to achieve all of my goals. So it was like y'all were just like just role models for me. And that's just what I grew up on. Y'all were educated, strong Black women, and I'm an educated, strong Black woman as well. And that's what I would just tell myself, that I had good role models.
Yeah. Look at you. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. I'm excited for whatever is next for you. And I already know you're going to be 2 feet down where you're at, but you're also going to keep your eyes on where you're trying to get to.
Exactly. I just don't want to worry about the future too much, but it's always on my mind sometimes. And it's just like, that's something I need to focus on, and just living right now. But yeah. Mom over here smiling. You just see her.
Yeah. I know you're recording, so I don't know if you want to.
Oh no, I'm gonna edit that out.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm actually I'm gonna pause.